A very sunny afternoon and sexy evening to club president, guests, members. I'm very happy to welcome everyone to Singapore SG Online International English Toastmaster Club. And I will be your Toastmaster of the evening for today. I'm Alicia Chia, and I will host this evening's meeting. And to start, I would like to share that we have a very exciting program ahead of us. We have the program is divided into three parts. The first section will be the table topics segment, which is followed by the speaking segment, thereafter which the final segment will be the evaluation segment. And today's theme is all about moving forward. But before we start off with the program, I would like to introduce the position holders that will be managing the meeting today. And I'd like to have them say a few words. First, I'll have the timer, Toastmaster Abdul Karimi.
Good afternoon, good evening, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, today I'm going to be doing the timers. Today's my duty for doing that for the speakers, table topics, etc. Back to you, Alicia.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Karimi. Next up, we have another position holder, which is Toastmaster Ahmad. He will be our R counter tonight. Let's welcome Toastmaster Ahmad to say a few words. Mr. Zoom Master, can you unmute the R counter Ahmad?
Okay.
Ahmad, please.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all. I will be a counter. My role as a counter is to count the number of unnecessary sound or repetitive words you use when you are speaking on the stage. For example, or, you know, I mean, will be counted in my report. These are fillers that would affect your effectiveness in delivering your speech. At the end of the meeting, I will present my report to you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ahmad. And we also have our table topic master, Toastmaster Hidran. Can you say a few words?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. It's a pleasure and an honor to be doing table topics this evening. And I'm sure it'll be exciting and engaging. So not opening my cards, but watch this space.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hidran. And we also have another important position holder, which is the grammarian. And I would like to invite our grammarian to say a few words and introduce us the word of the day.
Thank you very much, Alicia. My word of the day is elegant. Elegant is an adjective. The adverb is elegantly. The noun is elegance. I hope that you think I look very elegant and that you will speak eloquently as well as elegantly. I shall be listening for all interesting uses of the English language and also anything which makes me go, yes, you could have put that more elegantly. And I shall actually be listening for the taboo word of the day, which is actually, because I actually don't want to hear actually unless you actually mean it. So I hope we will have an elegant evening. Can you all please say the word elegant? Elegant?
Elegant.
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 That
Elegant.
was very elegant. Wasn't that elegant? Elegant, elegant, elegant. Write it down on your notes. Put it up so you remember to say it when it's your turn to speak. I hope you have an elegant evening. I hope you actually have an elegant evening. Thank you. Back to you, Alicia.
Thank you, our elegant grammarian Toastmaster Angela. Now, we also have another interesting position holder. We have our general evaluator. And tonight's general evaluator is DTM Doreen Yeo. Doreen, please, we'd like to invite you to say a few words.
Good day, everybody. My name is Doreen Yeo. Tonight, I am the general evaluator, one who evaluates everything that takes place during the club meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, general evaluator DTM Doreen Yeo. Now, before we actually start the meeting, see, I use the word actually, so you must watch out not to use the word actually. I'm also doubling up as a SAA as well. We would like, as a SAA, acting SAA, I would like to see everybody show their faces and smile. Should you be shy, you can always switch off your video, which is the button right at the bottom next to the mute button. And we need to observe some gentle protocols in the sense that when you're not speaking, please mute yourself, which is the first button right at the bottom left. And if you're not too shy, please show us your pictures, your videos. Now, before we actually start the program, the theme of tonight to this evening is change your approach. Change your approach. What does it mean? Change your approach would mean to say that do things not in the conventional way. Isn't it important, especially now, since it's the period of COVID-19, that we need to open our minds, despite the social distance, to think and move out of our defined boxes. So our team tonight, with all the different position holders, you will see they will move out of their box to do things they are not used to doing. Perhaps to be a better timer or better R counter. So we'll all be moving out of the box. So I would like to encourage our audience as well to change your approach and start now with this meeting. Maybe I would like to call just 1 or 2 persons in the audience to let us know how would you change your approach. How about guests? Santi.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Alicia, for calling me my name out. I have some scenarios to share here for where I changed my approaches. I'm a kind of individual contributor in most of my earlier careers, and I could say that I was technically very strong and I was a tech savvy. And when there was a situation comes that I have to jump onto a management role and I have to take care of my team and their career goals, and I have to ensure that they are successful, and I also to ensure the project has to be successful, right? So when I have to change my way of working, I started fixing all the problems on my own, giving the solution to the team. Then I realized that will not work for a long run. Then I changed. I went through a lot of videos. I analyzed a lot of materials, and I worked with a lot of mentors. And then I changed my way of working. And then I helped them. I kind of coached the team members to understand what they have to do on their day-to-day job, and made them provide more solution than I was running on their shoes. So that change really made my life easy, and I can make my work-life balance smooth. So I feel that change had a lot of impact in my life. Thank you. Over to you, Alicia.
Thank you, Santi, for sharing with us how you changed your approach. Now, I'd like to also invite another guest out there to share how you change your approach. How about Toastmaster? I see a Jade Tan. Would you like to share?
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Jade, and thanks Alicia for calling me out. Yeah, COVID has changed a lot of things for me, and one of it obviously being working from home. I think that's new to a lot of people, and it made me realize how flexibility is like how suited I am for flexible work. So I'm really liking it, and I've used my extra time a lot more. Well, I've used my extra time to explore a lot of things. I used to be quite involved in sports before COVID, and well, I can't do that much anymore. So I spent my time learning more about my industry, my field, as well as managing people and communication. And I had always thought that I was a very good communicator because I could write, and my English is fairly good. So I thought I was a good communicator until when I started reading more, digging in more during this COVID period. And I realized that actually, yeah, there were a lot of things that I never realized about myself until I did some deep reflecting. So in the past, I would communicate a lot via email, and I would type in points, very clear, concise points. And I thought that was the way that everyone communicated. But what I didn't realize was that sometimes people just need you to be speaking to them instead of, instead of just instead of just receiving an email, it feels quite cold. So I've been trying to change that. I've been doing a lot more calls during COVID. I've been trying to, even though I could have sent an email like I did in the past, I thought it might work better if I did video calls. So, have that face-to-face interaction. So I've been doing that. And now that I'm going back to the office, I think I'll be having a lot more face-to-face talks with my colleagues. So yeah, that's one thing that I'll be changing, have been changing, and will be changing further. That's all.
Thank you, Jade.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. That was a very, very deep sharing of how you change your approach. That it's still, whichever business you are, it's still a people thing. You need to have heart-to-heart communication instead of just being a keyboard warrior. Now, I think we're running short of time. I have to move on to the next segment, which is the President's opening speech. Now, without much ado, let us welcome our club president, DTM Willie Low. Willie, please.
Thank you. Toastmaster Alicia. Toastmaster of the Day Alicia. Change that is drastic and sudden often evoke a negative reaction. A reaction based on the fear of the unknown. Not we are understanding the scope and speed of change. Change always carries with it the opportunity for the best that life has to offer. Your capacity to maximize your benefits for change can be measured by your attitude, desire, vision, and energy, control, and excellence. If you are resistant to change, see what judges mean to you. Attitude, whether or not you can benefit for change depending on your attitude, which is the perspective for which you approach as area. For which of these perceptions do you come in great situations? Be respect to Toastmaster rebranding or be respect to the Rex. Catalyst, you initiate change to promote your growth and development. Capitalize, you may not initiate change, but you fully embrace the change to find your opportunity for growth and development. Concentrate, you equate to change, though you cannot see how you benefit. Compare, you adapt to change, though you believe there's no benefit if for you. Cleaner, you resist change by holding on to the past. Contester, you fight change to restore the past. The most common attitude towards change is that of the cleaner. This is especially true where change is sudden and drastic. We have a tendency to hold on to static goals, to memories, to security, to habits, and to personal preference. You cannot grab the opportunity of tomorrow program with Toastmaster if your hands are filled with yesterday's dreams of good goals. If you cannot welcome change with open arms, start with one finger, let go of the past. You are clinging to that one finger at a time. It only takes 10 steps to release for yesterday and be ready for your future growth. In energy, I call this term because it's important. It's perfect for the point that your capacity to benefit for change is a powerful way. The force of external change that might push you into a direction not for you choosing can be harassed by the force of the will that is essential of your being. You have the power to make it work in your best interest. Remember the first icebreaker speech you made for Toastmaster. You require E-energy. E-energy is manifested in will, resolve, determination, and persistence. If you are still straight to the past as security in the face of changes in Toastmaster, think of those changes as additional opportunity to break the ice. Release the same energy you used to have. No matter who you were when you first joined Toastmaster, today you are a different person. Your circumstances changes. The membership of your club changes. The international organization changes. Ours is an organization about change. The reason you put your membership fee down and pay your dues is when you are expected change. Fortunately, we have elected international leadership that has accepted the challenge of being catalyst for change. Don't resist or run away from it. You can maximize for yourself the benefit of changes that will take place by taking the ADVICE advice that are offered here, and you will still get what you're seeking. Over back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Club President DTM Willie Low, for sharing us how important change is, and you have the power to change. is as easy as 1, 2, 3. And next up, let's move on to the exciting program that we are all looking forward to, which is the table topic segment, or rather the better thinking segment. I will not say so much, and I'll hand it over to our table topic master, Hidran.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. A little bit of theme in terms of what's going to change. I was working on the theme in terms of changing the approach, and when this came in, I said, okay, let me implement it. I can't be doing a table topics on the theme without changing the approach. And hence I tried and implemented this on myself. And, the proof of the pudding would be how elegantly, you are able to approach this table topics and support me in this journey. So with that, let me begin. Today's table topics will be slightly different. First is that I am trying to, adopt or bring in a technology that I'm always passionate about, which is the wheels of names, so that everyone participates. Now it is simple, and let me see if I have the rights to change. The Zoom master, can you give me the rights to share my screen if possible, please? Okay. So there were a lot of thoughts in mind in terms of how would I do it, what would I do it. So as you can see, this is the name of wheels, as you would say, and this would point out the name of the individual who will volunteer or who will be volunteered by the wheel to speak. Now the rules are simple. It is not forceful that you have to speak. So I've tried and captured as many names as I see on the screen and as they have captured. But if you feel your name isn't there, then just put it on the text chat and the presenters can let me know that your name isn't present, or you can go unmute and just say that your name isn't present. Now, if your name comes up, you have the choice to either accept doing the table topics or decline as well. So again, I want to be honest here that you are under no pressure to speak. If you feel that you're not ready, you just want to let it pass, you just want to hear, not take the stride, it is okay. Just let me know that, just say pass, and we will go back to the wheel in terms of how we'll present. The next section is the actual table topic section. So what we will do in there is that, again, going by the theme of doing something different or going away from the ordinary or going outside the box. What I have done is, for the first time, we have no quotation, we have no words, etc. It is a picture-based table topics. So while the theme remains the same, which is nothing but going away or changing the approach, what will happen is that you will see a picture with changing the approach. Now all that you have to do is to just observe the picture for about 10 seconds before you start speaking, and then actually start your speech relating the theme of the day, which is changing the approach to the picture. So what does picture relate to you from changing the approach, and how would you interpret the picture to the central theme? I know I'm making it complicated, but I'm sure that as we go ahead, this will be absolutely simple and you will get to the flow of that. So with that permission, let me begin. Let me spin the wheel and see what the first name comes up. Again, I would say that if you're not ready, you can just politely decline and we will move ahead. It's not a hard and fast that you need to run with this, but I am passionate about technology. I want to change the approach, so I'm bringing this into life. So here we go with the first one. Okay, so Jade, this goes to you. Are you ready for going ahead with your first table topics?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. I love the enthusiasm. Keep it up. All right. So the rules remain the same. Again, just to tell you in terms of, I think this is known to all, but I'll just display the screen again. 1 minute, once you start speaking, it's green light. 1.5 is yellow or amber. 2 minutes, it's red. And at 2 or 30 minutes, it is the buzz light. So for you to qualify, your speech has to be greater than 1 minute, but less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, the caveat we are writing here is that you are given 10 seconds before you start speaking, because this is not a quotation. It's a picture that will come up and your theme remains constant, which is changing the approach. So Jade, what topic would you like to pick up from the list? Any number of your choice.
Sorry, where do I see the list?
No, so do you see the numbers out here from 1 to 15?
No. Okay, but I guess I'll just choose a number. I'll go with 8.
Okay. Do you see the slide?
I see the wheel.
Ah, okay. Let me, I'm sorry. Let me just share my screen again so you are able to see the slide. Are you able to see the screen now?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the topic is changing the approach. And this is the picture you have. So all that you have to do is your table topic relates the theme to the picture. So what is the story in the picture and how would you relate to changing the approach? Jade, take it away.
Okay. From this picture, I can see a couple, and I will take it that they are reading a quote, and that quote applies to something in their life. And right now, going through their minds is how this quote is prompting them to change something that they've done in their lives. And the quote, since the quote is healing through, I think, creating forms of, I can't read that. How about, maybe they saw the other quote, hope after trauma. And maybe they've gone through trauma and they've always seen it as a depressing thing. And now that they've seen this quote, they're probably thinking that, maybe life isn't so bleak and they should they could take a more positive approach. And they're wondering about positive outcomes in the future. And that's how life goes. Like sometimes in life, you encounter situations, unassuming moments in your life that make a big change in your perspective. And this has happened to me personally on many occasions. And I guess it's these moments that really make us grow. And because it changes, when your thoughts change, your perspectives change, then the things that you do will change as well. And these will affect changes in your life eventually. So that relates to changing the approach. I can't see the timer, but I think I'm past 1 minute. So I am done. Over, back to you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Wonderful. I mean, I love the way you turn back, and it's all, of course, changing the approach in terms of how do you go out of the trauma, think of the positive outcomes that are coming in, and see the positive side of life. Also, you want to compliment that you actually had to stitch this perfectly. This is how this game needs to be played, and this is how we want to do it. So again, compliment for you for going in first. So let's Just give me a thumbs up if you are able to see the wheel again. Are you able to see the wheel which I'm sharing? Thumbs up, so I know I can go ahead. Okay. Let's go ahead. Am I being heard? Is my voice coming okay? Okay, perfect. Abdul, you want to play the game? I have you muted,
play.
so all right,
Sure, go ahead.
brilliant. Okay, brilliant. So let me share my screen again and go back to, are you able to see the screen?
I can just see the wheels. Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me go back and share again. I think Zoom is giving problems.
No
Let me share the slide. All right. Abdul, do you want to choose a number? Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, I can see. Sure. Let me pick table topic 4.
Okay. All right. So your topic and your picture is changing the game, and it needs to relate to changing the approach. Ten seconds, and then you can take it away.
Yes. Bismillah. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Let's say in life, if things don't go right in your life, it could be anything in life. For example, let's say a business, right? You go for a business opportunity. You want to change your life around. It could be anything from selling water to owning a business, companies, or trying to get contractors from different job sites. So when you go to these places and you're trying to get a deal, contracts with these big companies or small companies, and you see that every time you put effort, you're trying your best, your hardest, trying to make connection, trying to get more contractors and deals and stuff like that. And most of them, you go and you say, you know what, I'm doing this, I'm trying and everything. And what you get is no. Every time you get is no. It keeps going saying no. But the way you got to look at the word no, no means next opportunity. So you always have to say, if this person says no, or this company says no to make a deal with me, you have to think in your mind as a mindset and say, it's okay, they said no, means next opportunity. You have to go to somebody else. That's how you make connection. That's how you bring friends. That's how you come up with ideas and creative. So you always have to think next opportunity. You just got to keep going and just be positive and look at it as anything is possible. So you have to change your attitude. You have to change your skills, your mental and everything. So what I'm saying is that in life, whenever you get no's or your life, just think about all the successful people that went high in life. It could be Amazon. He sold selling printers. It could be Warren Buffett. He worked in a restaurant. Or it could be a governor that worked selling newspapers. Now he's a billionaire. It could be the President Obama, from nothing to something, starting from a lawyer, that he became a president. So always think about no equals next opportunities. Thank you. Back to you, Heron.
Thank you very much. That's indeed quite a profound selling. And all of the names that you mentioned, Abdul, are all of those who've changed the approach. And, they've got out of the conventional thinking and changed their approach for better, for good. All right. Now, before I begin to the wheels of name again, this is a call out for any one of the guests who wants to go in, who don't have their names on the wheels and is itching to go and give it a try. So this is that mid pit stop that I want to take to give opportunity to people who want to just speak at this moment and just want to bypass the wheel. So anyone from the people present whose names are not on the wheels of name. Anyone wants to go in?
Here, Jay.
Yeah, Jay, perfect. I had your name, but I am very happy to have you. I'm very happy to have you nominate, and let me share my slide again. So do you want to pick up a number? Are you able to see the slide?
Yes, I'm picking number 10.
Okay. So number 10, here we go. Yeah, so again, relate to the picture. So picture and the theme is changing the approach. Changing the approach with what you see in the picture.
Pretty much, it sums up my day. Have you ever had this day wherein all of the tasks are piling up? You just don't know where to begin, but you want to finish everything on time, submit reports, attend Toastmasters, do chores, run errands. But it's just that it's as if 24 hours is not enough. And you find yourself exhausted and maxed out, but you didn't get to accomplish much. For the past few weeks, that has been the summary of my day-to-day existence. So something had to adjust. It could not be the people, the tasks. It had to be me. So what did I do? I tried to list down the things that I needed to do. Make sure I prioritize accordingly. Can this wait? Can this be rescheduled? What needs to be done first? So that we are not bombarded with all these things to do. We are not overwhelmed. I thought that writing it down is just, one trick of the trade that some people would recommend. I tell you, it did work for me. So whether you are going digital and taking it off your mobile phone, or doing it the old method, writing it down manually, and have the joy of crossing it out with your beautiful red pen. Do what works for you. As they say, different folks, different strokes for each kind of people. So try it out. Don't overwhelm yourself. What you'd want to be is, at the end of the day, be happy and productive. Remember, being busy is not always productive. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Wonderful. That's so profound in terms of different strokes for different folks. And all of that also means that you're changing approach with every stroke. So it beautifully relates back to theme, and thank you for volunteering and well done. All right. So with that, let us now revert back to our beautiful wheel that's just working, ensuring all of us are well glued in. And let's just see whose name comes up. So it is Santi. Santi, are you ready for the table topics?
Yes, TTM Hiran.
Oh, very nice. Let me now show you, your topic. So give me a moment till I get into the adjustments. And do you have a number that you want to speak?
Number 3.
Okay, let's look at what's in at number 3. All right, so the picture you see is of some people working, some people on the shop floor. Your theme with the picture remains the same, which is changing the approach. Changing the approach with what the picture you see. Toastmaster Santi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hiran. If I understand the picture, people are working hard, and I could relate to one story which I very often used to tell to my daughter. There are 2 woodcutters who cut the woods with the same amount. I mean, they belong to same age group, and they are with same strength and body build and everything, but then one person was able to cut more woods and the other person was little less productive. So the challenge there was that the other person who was actually cutting more wood had sharpened his saw. So that is the difference between the 2 woodcutters. Right. So on this particular image, what I could see is that people are putting a lot of energy in, could be changing the furniture, and there is one master who is trying to give them the instructions, right? So there is always people with brainy who definitely makes a lot of difference, and they create the change, and they always come up with a lot of different approaches for doing the same work. Over to you, Toastmaster Hiran. Thank you.
I think that's wonderfully summed up from a storytelling approach, also from the very thought that, if you change the approach, that's where leadership begins. And, that's where you will stand out of the folks. So I love the story that you weaved in. All right, so moving on again with our friend that's helping us with the approach, and let's go on to who's next. Checking with Edward. Edward, do you want to participate in the table topics?
Sure, I'll participate.
Wonderful, Edward. Love the spirit. And let's give me a moment till I bring up my screen back. And let me just share my screen. And here we go. Edward, just pick a number, please.
A 9.
Okay, 9. Let's see what 9 has in store for you. Okay, so you see in the picture, it's the youth, it's the next generation, and the theme remains changing the approach. So you have the picture, you have the story, weave it to the theme of changing the approach. Edward, over to you.
Mr. President, Toastmaster of the evening, table topic master, fellow Toastmasters, guests, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. There is nothing wrong with remaking the wheel. There is a saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I do not believe in that. I believe that we shouldn't necessarily work hard, but we should work smart. There are time-proven methods and approaches to solve problems. That does not mean that they are the only way to solve problems. Growing up, going to school, we created our school projects with Bristol board, markers, tapes, glues. In today's world, we do our projects with PowerPoint and email it off to our teachers. We have changed the approach. We have become more productive. We are saving trees. We are not cutting down as many trees because everything is electronic. We have changed the approach. And that goes for everything in life. We used to crowd the supermarket on Saturday morning to do our shopping. Now, thanks to the COVID pandemic, we are shopping from home. Our groceries are being delivered to our doors. We no longer go to the supermarket. We have changed the approach. We now have more time to spend at home with our loved ones because we are not at the supermarket. We have changed the approach. It's never a bad idea to remake the wheel. We must at all times look for ways to improve. Change is growth. Growth is progress. We must always try to achieve more tomorrow than we have achieved today. And we can only do that by changing the approach. Back to you, Topic Master.
Thank you very much. Indeed, beautifully weaved to take us through the journey of how change in approach will matter and how it will take us right from supermarket to school education to business. Beautifully weaved, Edward, and thank you for a wonderful speech. So moving on, back to our wheel, and let's see who's next. Simpson, if you are around and if you would like to participate, let us know so we can begin.
Yes, I'm willing to.
Wonderful. All right. I always love the spirit and enthusiasm that the Toastmasters Club bring in. So let me go back to the sharing of our speech topic. And Simpson, what is the number that you would like to choose?
7.
Okay, let's see what's in it for 7. All right, so what you have is the picture says new. It could be new anything. It could be new beginning. It could be the new game, whatever you may call it, but all begins with the central theme of changing the approach. Changing the approach with new. Over to you, Toastmaster Simpson.
Good evening, President of the Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster of the Day, Table Topics Master, and fellow Toastmasters. In Singapore, the Straits Times used to be our official newspapers, and in the past, many of our people read the Straits Times. But with the change in times, with the advent of internet, less and less people are looking at a hard copy, at hard copies of the Straits Times, of the newspapers, and even of many other magazines and books. So, because of the change, or because of the advent of the internet, of the online service of all these things, the newspapers, the Straits Times, has adopted a change in approach. And in fact, for many companies, they have adopted a change in approach. So instead of now having hard copies, so Straits Times, the company like Straits Times, they adopted the sale of both hard and soft copies to attract more customers to buy the newspapers. So for us to survive in this new era, really every time change is the constant. and therefore we must always change our approach. So for example, during this COVID period, you see that students can't go to school. The teachers in school also have to change their approach. So instead of now they are not able to teach in class, not able to face the students, face to face, they have to adopt the online. So many teachers in Singapore also learn how to use different IT tools such as Palette, Mentimeter, ClassKick, online software to help them bring across the lesson that they want, to teach their children effectively. So as the new people of this world, of these new times, let us all adopt this, change the approach to help us face more difficult times ahead of us, because we do not know when another kind of worse thing, COVID germ, will appear. Thank you.
Wonderful. I love the analogy, but also I miss the physical copy of the Straits Times. The smell of the newspaper, that you get early in the morning on every day or on a Saturday. Just that smell of the newspaper is something that I personally miss. But of course, as we say, we need to change our approach. So get more digital. All right. So again, it's time of that pit stop, and this is the only time where we tell you to jump off the queue. So in case if anyone wants to speak and anyone wants to volunteer, like people have done before, I open the floor. So is there anyone who wants to speak out of the turn and not get into the wheel and is wanting to speak? So this is that time. Angela, I see a hand waving. Now, is the hand waving for you to speak, or is it a hi to me? I love the elegantly she said that. So I will invite Toastmaster Angela to speak. With pure elegance, I will share my slide. So Toastmaster Angela, what number you would like to select for yourself? Toastmaster Angela? Mute, unmute.
Hello, okay. I don't see the topic yet.
Are you able to see my slide?
I can see the slide that says...
You need to choose a number.
6, please.
All right, let's see. Yes. So that's the slide and that's the picture. Green jobs for all and changing the approach.
Thank you, Hiran. Green jobs for all. What's amazing is how quickly things have changed. I can remember when a friend of mine came to stay and she brought her own straw to drink out of while we were using the old plastic throwaway straws, and we thought she was quite weird. And within 6 months, I was demanding a straw, and my husband bought me a metal straw, which I must admit I haven't used because I then read about how you should not drink through straws. So I gave that up altogether. But it's an example of how quickly people can be influenced, and as soon as the idea catches on that you're protecting the earth, then who wouldn't want to do it? It's only a question of how much it inconveniences you. And the inconvenience disappears as soon as you think of the benefits that you get from going green. And I'm one of these people who wants us all to go green, and I approve of the latest move by Singapore to allow us to turn our rooftops green. Apparently at one time that wasn't allowed, but now it's being allowed. And I've even applied to be sent seeds, which every household could get 2 packets of seeds from the government. So if you're from another country, suggest that your government sends everybody 2 packets of seeds, or suggest that McDonald's or banks or somebody, instead of giving money, could give out seeds to people to grow fruit. And then we would all turn literally green and be eating more fruit and vegetables and be more healthy. I don't see the timer, but I think I must be out of time, and I wish to be a green person in every way and stop when I see the green light. So I will hand back to you, Hiran, and just encourage everybody to enjoy the delights of being green.
Wonderful. And you know, one of the biggest way, or one of the green way that Singapore Online English Toastmaster does is that we don't do any paper waste. We are completely digital, and this is the club that's gone the green way. So if you support the green way, join our club. And this message was on behalf of our president to all the guests out here. So if you've not signed up for this green club. All right, moving on, and time for just one more before we stop here, and let's see who is on the wheel. So Asbina, just checking with you if you would like to speak this evening. Oh, perfect. Wonderful. So let me show up my screen and quickly take it in terms of all right. So any number you want to choose?
Number 5.
Okay, let's go with number 5. Changing the approach. You see the crossroad of railway tracks, or changing the tracks with changing the approach.
By looking at these tracks, I think that the trains sometimes needs to change their tracks if there is wrong signal given, or if there's any problem. Similarly, what a good time it is that in this pandemic time, we need to change our tracks. We need to change our approaches. There is a lot of changes going all over the world. For instance, kids are having online classes instead of regular classes. We are selling different kinds of products nowadays. Instead of selling the garments before, people are asking for face masks more. We see lots of face masks come up nowadays in all over the online shops and in all over the retail stores. And then we see a lot of people are changing their approach by doing a lot of Zoom classes. So it's a good time that when we see there is a trouble in all over the world, when there is a red signal that it is difficult to go out, we do everything online, and we change our approaches, we change our marketing strategies, and by doing that, we don't see only a problem that is ahead, but we see opportunities along with the problems also. And the things, and then we look for those opportunities, and then we dig into the opportunities, and then finally we realize that the problems are there, but the opportunities are bringing us more closer to our goals. And we do teamwork, and the more we do teamwork, the more we go towards the leadership. Yes. Thank you.
Brilliant. And I love, this was one of my favorite slides, because all that I can relate to, and as you rightly pointed out when you started, that even if a huge iron and metal train can change tracks to change the course, you know, we are humans, and you know, if a train can change tracks or course of action, why can't we? All right. So with that, let me share our wheel again and see who do we have. Edward, are you wanting to speak?
Sure.
Brilliant. Okay, so let me share my screen and then we can get going. Any number that you wish to choose.
12.
Edward, you've spoken, right?
Yes, I have. Would you
Okay,
prefer
I'm
I
sorry.
give someone else a chance?
Yeah, it would be good to get
Okay,
someone.
no worries. No worries.
All right. Anyone else wants to volunteer? You can come off mute and let us know, and then we will give you the chance. So anyone wants to volunteer before we get back?
Hiran, can I interrupt? Hiran?
Yes, of course.
Can you hear
Yes,
me?
of course.
There's
Yes, I
one
can.
volunteer in the chat group that's under Maneshaw. Is it? I don't know how you pronounce the name. Baneshow. He volunteered.
Okay, do you want to come off mute then and choose a number?
I'm not speaking. I'm pointing out to you. There's one volunteer.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just talking to the person who's.
I see. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So anyone. So the person who's volunteered, if you can come off mute, because I can't see you because my screens are being shared. Okay, if there's no one, for the sake of sharing, saving time, anyone who wants to go in before we get back to again the last wheel of sharing.
Ahmad wanted
Can
to.
I speak?
Me.
Sorry.
Ahmad.
Oh, Baneshwar has appeared.
Oh, actually, my name is Sakar, not Baneswar, because Baneswar is actually the name of the Toastmaster I'm in. So I was really confused of what Toastmaster Doreen was talking about. So I'm really sorry. So can I take the topic, Toastmaster?
Yes, please. Yes, please. You choose a number.
Okay, so I choose the unlucky number, the so-called unlucky number 13.
All right. Unlucky for money, but lucky for you, which is changing the approach.
Okay.
This is all about parenting and what you see in the picture, what changing the approach, and how do you relate to this picture?
Give me a second, Harun. Harun, can you hear me, Harun?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I don't see the person's name. Can you tell me his name so I can write it down for the timer, please?
Oh, I'll write it down. Just Yeah, I've written in the chat box. Can you?
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. No problem.
So the picture is basically about a mother and a child. And the mother is actually helping her son to draw. So I guess this really means that parents should really acknowledge what the child should be willing to take in the future. So the child is actually interested in the arts. And basically, in most of the Asian countries, if the child is interested in some arts or some fine arts or some stuff like that, the parents don't trust the child. That's the reality. And if we change the approach in our countries, then we can definitely make a better future in the Asian countries. And talking about the Asian countries, I'm talking about more in the southern regions. So yeah, the child should really make a difference in his or her life and make their own decision by changing the approach. And yeah, that's what I want to say. Over to you, Toastmaster Yuan.
Wonderful. And I completely agree that, you know, it's the parents' responsibility to start inculcating this, changing the approach with their children. It's all about, you know, helping them to open up new doors, and children are the best way where this thought can be started, experimented, and they will be the change that we will see them in the future. So wonderfully put. So with that, I bring in the session to a close with the time. There are another of these that are there, but in case you're interested, I'm happy to share the slides for you to run by. But yeah, it has been fun. And as I said before, and as I close, my idea was to try something new, changing my approach in the experimentation, and hope this has added a lot of value to you. So with that, I hand over back to the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Table Topic Master Hidren. Let's all vote for the best table topic speaker. So far, we have 50% people voted. So please quickly put in your votes so that we can go for our 10-minute break. So we're up 70% voted. %. So I'll give everyone another minute to quickly put in your votes for the best table topic speaker. Now we have 60 seconds left. If you're as hungry as me, quickly type in your best table topic speaker. All right, time's up. I'll be closing the poll, and we shall have a 10-minute break. Now the time is 10:11 Singapore time. So please be back by 10:20. Thank you. All right, is everybody back? Then I will be starting the recording soon. Welcome everybody. I hope everyone had a good 10-minute break. Now I'm very excited to invite everyone to the second segment of our program, which is the Better Speaking segment. This is where we have speakers who present their speeches. And for this segment, we have 5 speakers. The first speaker will be embarking on his Icebreaker Speech from Effective Coaching Level 1 Mastering Fundamentals. And let us have his evaluator, DTM Simpson, to share with us the purpose statement. Simpson, please.
I think it's Vienna, right?
Oh,
I think it's not me.
Sorry. Vienna, please.
Hello. The purpose of this project is for a member, for Thomas to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. That's quite interesting. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vienna. And we'd like to invite the first speaker, Toastmaster Thomas Chen. He will be embarking on his icebreaker speech, and his speech title today will be
The Shoe.
The Shoe. Yes, correct. The speaker today will be speaking on how a shoe can become a life-changing object. So over to you, Toastmaster Thomas Chen. Let's all give him a round of applause.
I was 12 years old when I first found my love. Everything about her was special. Her skin was smooth and silky. Her curve was sharp and sleek. Her build was impeccable and desirable. She was a masterpiece. I would spend hours staring at her and sometimes slot myself into her. I was 12 years old when I found my first love. A pair of Nike sports shoes, Air Jordan Special Edition. Enchanting evening, ladies and gentlemen. When I was 12 years old, I was just like any young little boy. Active, reactive, talkative. My weekends would be invigorated with the game of basketball. I enjoyed the game because it was such an amazing platform for me to interact with my friends and, most importantly, impress my female classmates. Being young, each of us would want to stand out and show off, be the cool kid. My friend would have their parents purchase for them the most expensive sets of jersey, the most beautifully designed wristbands, the highest quality basketball. Having this was a form of acknowledgement that most of the children would crave and rave over. Unfortunately for me, I did not come from a very well-to-do family. My father's highest qualification was just an O-level, and my mother was uneducated. Every day, I would rush down to the Nike store just to see that pair of shoes, just to admire and adore it, visualizing myself wearing it, playing the game of basketball. However, nothing ever came true. I was not able to afford it. But this is when my mother started to take notice. She knew I was deeply in love with that pair of shoes. So secretly and quietly, she accumulated money through part-time job. Months passed, and finally, she was able to buy that pair of shoes for me. As most of you can imagine, as a young boy, I was so excited and elated. Yes, finally I can show my friends this pair of shoes that I have. So during the next basketball section, I wore the shoes and go play the game of basketball. All my friends were impressed by the shoes. Even the girls started taking notice of me. This was when one of my mother's friends walked up to my mother and said, "Wow, Nike shoes, very rich, huh?" My mother did not say anything. She only smiled. Let me tell you something. Poor people will always be poor. Buy this type of branded items, people will think it's fake. My mother continued to keep her silence, continued to smile. That night, my mother locked herself into the room and cried her heart out. It was late at night, and I did not know who she was talking to, but she kept blaming herself, calling herself useless, not being able to adequately take care of me, not being able to give me what I want. My heart broke into a million pieces. In the midst of focusing what I love, I forget to focus on those who love me. From that day onwards, I made a promise to myself. instead of spending so much time on what I love, I would spend time on who loved me. I promised myself to study my hardest, to work my hardest, to live my hardest, so that when I grow up, I can be the firm foundation of my family. I can give my parents a life they would want to have. While I was studying, I would take up part-time jobs, attend enrichment courses, find a mentor, and take up leadership roles to enhance my life skills. Fast forward to today, I have learned as much as I can, become financially independent, and cemented myself as a cornerstone of the support for my family. I shared this story to all of you today, not to impress, but to impress upon all of you that while you pursue what you love, always remember to appreciate and reciprocate those around you. Just as I can appreciate if the timer, share with me what timing is it right now. Has it reached the 4-minute mark? Not yet? Great, because I saw the green card earlier. But no worries, I still have lots to share. The people who shower you with unconditional love, who are they? Ask yourself this question. Those people who are willing to go an extra mile for you and not expecting anything in return. When we start working, when we start pursuing our dream, when we start pursuing our love, just like how I pursue that beautiful pair of Nike shoes, I neglected those around me. But remember, it is those around you, those who have quietly supported you, those who are there when you need them, those who work hard in silence for you. They are the people who you have to truly treasure, who you have to truly fight for, who you have to truly pour your love for. Because those people feel that you matter. So you must make them feel that they matter. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are pursuing that beautiful pairs of shoes in your life, whether be it wealth, whether be it riches, whether be it opportunities in jobs, always remember who is the one who even make it possible for you to think about this pair of shoes. At the end of the day, they are the one who truly, truly matter. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas Chen. Thank you for sharing the heartwarming story about the shoe, which brings me back to one local movie, or rather a Singapore movie about this children which were so poor that they had no shoe. I remember the sister had no shoe. So the brother ran the race to win the sister a pair of school shoes. They were so poor they had no shoes. Now, in my life, I wasn't that poor. I always enjoyed shoes just like Thomas. When I was younger and playing netball, I always went for Nike shoes, but I couldn't get the top range. So I went for the normal range. But nevertheless, in life, we always know that shoes, although it's a common thing, you need shoes to wear, but it can be very useful, particularly to people who really need it. Like say for my parents, my mom has a defected feet, deformed feet. So I decided to buy her comfortable shoes from Skechers so she can walk comfortably. And today, she remembers, she proudly tells her relatives and friends that my daughter bought me this shoe, very comfortable. So shoes are very important, although they're right at the bottom of your feet. Now, we have the next speaker, next speaker who will be presenting on, from his presentation mastery level 1, mastering fundamentals, evaluation and feedback, second speech. Let us invite his evaluator, DTM Kanan Sankara, to share with us the purpose statement. Kanan, please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. In this speech, the speaker will try to implement the feedback he has received when he presented the first speech. He can provide the same speech or he can provide a different speech. The idea is he has to incorporate the feedback that he has received earlier. Having said that, let us all hear to his wonderful speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Kanan Shankara. Now let us welcome Toastmaster Hiren Jatin Panya with his speech title, Zoom Out. Let's welcome Toastmaster Hiren. Hiren, please.
Sure, thank you very much. Are you able to hear me okay? Okay, just a change. I don't know where this has slipped out, but this is my third speech. It is all about researching. So it's the third speech from the presentation mastery. I don't know where it slipped out, but this is actually the third speech which I'm going. So just a correction there. As I share my screen, give me a moment. And I am still obsessed with the topic for the day, which is the theme of the day, which is all about changing the approach. And that's where, you know, I want to center around, which is zoom out. And why I say this, I will take you through a theme which is still centered around changing the approach. But again, as my speech title says, zoomed out. So Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guest. My topic for today is a research topic, and this research topic comes in from the readings I have done, the Toastmaster meetings I have attended. Now, what you see here is a familiar sight that existed in the pre-COVID times and the post-COVID times. So you had on the left-hand side, if you see, that was the time which was a day in a life of a very traditional Toastmaster club. We met in person, we met in meeting rooms, we met in CCs, we met in hotel rooms, we met in conference room, we met. However, things changed post-COVID, but when it comes to Singapore Online Toastmasters Club, it had changed well before COVID, but the whole world of online club came in. For us within Singapore Toastmasters Club, it was the normal. It was how we met every week, week after week. But for some clubs, they were completely unaware and they had to change things overnight. So when it was the meeting rooms that got changed into Zoom rooms. And for some of the clubs, this was completely new, completely at a surprise. So let's understand the background of it. Now, this is where the research comes in terms of just understanding where we are in terms of what changed. Now, if you look at, go back to history, it says that people, you know, these were the places where people met. So people met across hotels, people met across conference centers, business centers, etc., etc. This was the in-person world. A world that existed in the pre-COVID times. However, come COVID, things changed, and 70% of the meetings or 70% of the interaction, and of course, this is slightly dated data going back to the initial stages of the lockdown, but at initial stages as well, 70% were all video meetings. So the in-person changed into a video-based meeting into a virtual world. Let's look at some other stats. This on the left-hand side shows the research that comes in from Zoom in terms of the million minutes that Zoom as a device earned. So way back in December, which was 10 million. The data which came in last, which was in April, it was 300 million. So look at the amount of multiplier that it has gone to. And this is just talking about Zoom, the most popular video conferencing device that we all use. I am not still calculating the Skypes and the WebExes of the world. And on the right, and this again data comes from Toastmaster International, so they were very happy to share, but look at the average time that the club met to the online interaction that the club did. So if you look at it, almost 75 to 80% of the club are still gone online, and there is still no guidance on when club can start meeting, doing in-person meeting. So this has been the substantial amount of growth that clubs have gone through over a period of time. And this, all of this has been in a span of 3 months where some of the clubs, some of the members have been completely unaware of this changing times, having to adapt new, having to change their approach. Remember, change their approach. So what has changed in an online Toastmaster club? So what has changed in this era of pre-COVID, where we met in person, where the life was, as I would say, shaking hands, to waving the hands? This has been the change that our clubs have gone through. When they met in person, when there was an applause, to there was this waving of hands that came in. Now, if you look at it, while this is a busy slide, a whole lot of things have changed. The physical club formation, where we met at a physical location, there was parking problems, there was a taxi queue for people to take back home, to the need for a projector, to the sergeant in arms coming in 15 to 20 minutes to 30 minutes before, arranging food, arranging refreshments, ensuring the slips are in place, the ballot is there, the room is set up, the chair is set up, to a whole new world of changed approach of a Zoom world, where it's all online, in terms of ensuring that you have a webcam, in terms of having a sophisticated equipment where I could hear properly and I be heard. In terms of networking, how do you bring about that change? How do you bring about this happiness in the virtual world? So a whole lot of things change. A simple example, the role of a sergeant in arms, which was the person who arranged chairs, ensured the meeting is set up, have now become a Zoom master, a Zoom jockey who ensures that the digital quotient of the Toastmasters goes up. So this has come in with this changed approach, with this new way of the new normal. And it has taken a whole lot of people, whole lot of Toastmasters, including Toastmaster International, to look and embrace this new change of the new normal that is coming. So being from a physical, being from clapping and applauding to just waving the hands, this has been the change that people have gone through when we changed from a traditional to a virtual medium. Now this particular slide, or this is finger pointing to all of us. So if this finger is pointing to, if you feel, to you on the screen right now, yes, this next message is for you. And what it says is that it's time to rethink everything. It's time to rethink how we run meetings, how we do roles, how we will work in this new normal, and whereby change our approach. It's time to change our approach from a physical to a virtual club. And who has to change? It is us at Singapore Online Toastmasters Club, because we are the spearheaders of this. We won't go back to a physical club meeting, and the world will look at us, or the world is actually look at us in terms of how we do it, how we run our Zoom meetings, how eloquent we are in terms of running meeting, how eloquent we are in technology, and how elegantly we'll run our meetings using the power of virtual medium. So this is all about changing the approach and getting to the new normal. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hiren. I'm really zoom into your presentation. Despite COVID-19 forcing us to stay indoors and with all the safe distancing, with Zoom, our lives have changed. We now have new skills and we have new tools to communicate with people all over the world. No more distancing. Let's move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker will be embarking on Engaging Humor Level 2 learning your style, connect with your audience. So let's invite his evaluator, DTM Unsin Sin, to share with us the purpose statement. Over to you, Sin Sin.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Now, the purpose of this project is for Patrick to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. For him to do this, Patrick will be presenting a topic that is new or unfamiliar to his club members. All the best to you, Patrick. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Unsin Sin. Precisely, Toastmaster DTM Patrick Guilford will be presenting a topic that's new and unfamiliar to our audience. The title he'll be speaking on is Standing Up for Love. And the speaker will be speaking about what is love? What really is love? Is there a difference between heterosexual love and LGBTQ love? Over to you, Toastmaster DTM Patrick Guilford.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. This is a topic that I've been thinking about for a long time. First, before I start talking about the heterosexual and homosexual, I should say LGBTQ love, I want to talk about just love in general. There are many different kinds of love, but the love that I'm going to first focus on is the love that a parent has for their child. So let's think about this. Let's pretend that you receive a telephone call from your child's teacher in school. And the teacher says, your son or daughter has been smoking. And they come home and you feel very embarrassed. What are you going to do? How are you going to react? Are you going to lose it? Are you just going to explode? Are you going to be so angry with your child? Or are you going to sit down and lecture your child? Or are you just going to try to find out and love your child in any case? Hopefully it's the latter. So my thoughts on love. I've been thinking about this, as I said. My cousin, a close cousin of mine, I found out a few years ago that he was homosexual. I was a little surprised at first, and I suppose more saddened to the fact that he unfriended me on Facebook, probably because he felt embarrassed when I found out. I was definitely not disappointed with him, and I'm still trying to connect with him. He's family, and I would really like to connect with him. And also, I have 4 friends, close friends in high school that are homosexual. So I often think about, I connect, I'm in contact with my friends. And I remember my first job after graduating from university. I was teaching up in the northeast coast of Labrador, which is connected to Quebec, the mainland portion of Newfoundland and Labrador. I was teaching in an Indian community, and you know, in Indian communities, there's a high percentage of drug use in HIV. And I remember this First Nations person who was going around on a speaking tour, trying to encourage students not to make the same mistakes that he made. Anyway, he was HIV positive. And nobody really wanted to get close to him. And I felt really sad because of that. So I decided to do something different. I decided to invite him to my home for a turkey dinner. When I did that, he was really surprised, and kind of like a tear came to his eye, and he said, "Nobody has ever treated me this way." And so for me, it was very common to treat him that way. It was a sense of love. So anyway, okay, what's happening here? Love is love. It has no gender. Compassion has no religion. Character has no race. Abhijit Naskar. Love is worth fighting for. And eradicate hate. Now, either you are homophobic or you are a human. You cannot be both. So love is love. So if you say, oh, this is not love, then you are prejudiced. Intentionally prejudiced, maybe not. Again, either civilized or phobic. So this is a treatise that Mr. Naskar wrote. Look at this picture. What do you think of this picture? Is there something abnormal? Is there something strange about this picture? Look at the little boy. He looks happy. Isn't that what we're all looking for, is happiness? Are heterosexual couples the only ones who have the market on happiness? Certainly no. And love is worth fighting for. It is true. Many of the rights and democratic rights and social rights that we have today, we have because someone fought for those rights. We have to eradicate hate. We have to eradicate it. Homosexuality is found in over 1,500 species. Homophobia is found in only one. Which one seems unnatural now? So I know a lot of friends who are gay in partnerships with loved ones, and they are as stable as family as my family is. I don't see any reason not to say that they should be able to get married. Colin Powell, former Secretary of State. Now, look at this. Would you continue to be friends with your best friend even though he or she is gay? Would you still love your child even if they came out to you? Would you work with a gay coworker? Would you hire a gay person? Would you rent an apartment to a gay person? I hope the answer to all of these would be yes. Because if it's anything less than yes, you are not being true to love, and you are not being true to yourself. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Patrick. Yes, love is love. For me, I only have love and fresh air. So I pick love. Because love is wonderful. You can find love in your friends, relatives, and family members. Be it straight, not straight, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be happy. So next up, we have another speaker who will be delivering presentation mastery level for building skills and writing a compelling blog. For this speaker, Angela, we will be having a round robin of evaluators. Before she starts her speech, I will need to get 7 evaluators to volunteer. May I get 7 evaluators? We will do a round robin evaluation of her speech. Please volunteer people. Okay, very good. We have Thomas, I need another 6 more.
Willie looks quite free here, Willie.
So Willie is also another one too. So another 5 more.
Can have non-Toastmaster or not?
Yes, non-Toastmaster also can. Anybody in the audience. Whoever
Jade
can
like quite
think
free,
and
Jade.
speak. Oh, Hidran. Okay, 3 already. So another 3 more.
7 a lot leh.
No, because this is a project requirements.
Jade like quite free, Jade.
How about Jade?
Just try, just try.
Okay,
So we
I
have
hope I
4.
can provide some constructive feedback.
You definitely can provide. No worries.
I will participate.
All right. So we have how many already? 4.
Okay, I
So
can
we'll
do it.
show another 3 more. Okay, Asmina.
Yeah.
2 more, please.
Sarah like very focused, Sarah.
Sarah
I think
can?
She'll be a good evaluator.
Sarah, she? Silence is acceptance, is it?
Wow, your Sabo game stronger than me.
Sorry, what's the speaker? Who's the
Oh,
speaker?
no. The next speaker is sharing on her blog. So for the project requirement requires 7 evaluators. So we'll do a round robin, short round robin. Maybe each person can speak 1 minute will do. No need so long. All right. Don't over speak so that the other speakers can have a chance. Right. Any more? We are short of how many? 1 more, is it?
I'm available, Jay.
Okay, great. Please all type in your name because I have a short memory. Who's volunteering? Thank you. And now, without much ado, let us welcome Toastmaster Angela Lansbury. She's from 4 Toastmaster clubs, including SG Online, and she'll be delivering her speech titled Travel with Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury has written several blogs, but the one with the most readers is travelwithangela.blogspot.com. She will describe how she chooses a topic, checks her numbers or readers, changes of subjects, titles, add pictures, cuts or expand blogs and links, her blog posts, and her visions for the future. This will be a 2 to 3 minute speech. So over to you, Toastmaster Angela.
And everyone else's vision of me as a travel writer. Got unmuted there. Right. I was a very busy travel writer. I wrote for Brides, a newspaper, and lots of places, and I used to get offered free trips. Now I don't bother going on free trips because being in Asia, I just travel so much anyway. However, I want to maintain my image with tourist boards as a travel writer, and I can't stop writing about travel. So I write about travel every day. My blog was called quite simply Travel with Angela Lansbury. Now this has 2 problems. One is we've suddenly gone into COVID-19 and nobody can travel. The other is there's another Angela Lansbury. In fact, there are 13 of us. And if you're not careful, you type in Angela Lansbury and you get somebody else's blog or picture. So I have to be constantly on Facebook advertising my own blog and the post of the day. I also go on to Twitter and other places to keep it going. My son, who's in search engine optimization, which is basically promoting your blog when people search for it, told me that I shouldn't be on Blogger, which he thought looked amateur, and I should go on to WordPress. I went onto this and we looked at what people want, and we made another blog called Luxury for Less, and it seemed such a great idea, but I never got any readers at all, and I still had all my readers going to my other blog. and it was so much easier to organize. It was so much more straightforward. Then I started thinking, how do I increase my readers? And I did various things. I changed my titles. If I had a long title, I made it shorter. It might say something like how to find 50 places to visit in London. And then I might change it to London's 50 best places. Or do you agree that these are the 50 best places in London? And then I started doing quizzes at the end of my blog to try and involve the readers. So that helps me to focus on what I want the reader to remember at the end, and how do I make them remember the facts that are in the blog. Because of COVID-19, I've had to do a lot of blogs on things like how do I go to meetings and not shake hands with people? How do I take photographs of people wearing masks, and so on? And oddly enough, some of these posts have had the biggest number of readers. I would like you to go onto my blog and have a look at it and read my blogs and give me some feedback on what you would like to read about, because after all, the blog is there for the readers. It's not really just for me. I've got 20 other blogs which nobody reads, which are just for me, but this is the one which is for you. Remember, Travel with Angela Lansbury, and it's on blogspot.com. Please read it and give me your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela, for sharing us your blog. Now, let's move on to the final speaker, who will be delivering his presentation, Mastery Level 5, demonstrating expertise, leading in your volunteer organization. And let us invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Lee Buckley, to share with us the purpose statement. Lee, please.
Toastmaster of the day, Kana have left the day, so we can't speak today. So you can continue to have your break.
She will evaluate Angela as well then.
Okay, in that case, that's right. Let's change the approach. Lee, you can join in as one of the evaluators for Angela's blog. But we'll look forward to Kanan's speech at the next meeting. Now that we have finished with all the second segment of speakers, let us vote for the best speaker. Zoom master, please. Can you start the polling for us? Thank you. Now we have 72% voted. We have another 50 seconds. 1 minute is up. I'll give everyone another 1 minute to vote before we close the polls. All right, we have another 60 seconds more. Whoever hasn't voted, please kindly vote. All right, we have hit 2 minutes and I will end the poll. Thank you everyone for joining this second segment. We will have another 10 minutes break to allow the evaluators to prepare the evaluation for our speakers here. So the time is 11:03. Let's be back by 11:15.
She has done this very elegantly, Thomas.
15. Welcome everyone to our final segment of the program, which is the evaluation segment, or rather the better thinking segment, where we have our evaluators who come out with the evaluation of the speakers' speeches. Now the first evaluator is Toastmaster Vienna. She is a stay-at-home mom, eager to improve English speech. I can see her passion in English. She also loves to be doing nothing, but sadly cannot. So without much ado, let's welcome Toastmaster Vienna to evaluate Toastmaster Thomas Chen's speech on the shoe. Vienna, please.
Okay. Thomas, first, I really want to say you are a great, great speaker. Like, it seems like you can tell a wonderful story in any minute. In today's story, we all take a tour with him to see what he liked when he was 12 years old. He was so excited to own a pair of Nike shoes, Air Jordan. And you wouldn't know a pair of sports shoes could have so many eye-catching functions. Boys and girls, anyone could be drawn to that pair of shoes. But at first, you thought it was a romantic story, like having a girlfriend? No, you will realize it was a heartbreaking story. Finally, it turned out to be a awakening story. You need to realize not only you have to appreciate other ones, the loving ones, doing so many wonderful and sweet things to you, but you need to do something in return. You need to do something for them. I think making speech, Thomas is right in his zone. You cannot turn your eyes away. You cannot shut down your ears. Like all the audience is in a lockup mode. You know, I really want to get out, please. Hopefully he just talked about less than 7 minutes. I thought, okay, wonderful, but I really want to hear more of your stories. Confidence is ready to jump out of roof for Thomas. Nothing could be challenged in your stories. And for me, I don't find any challenging points. Anything you could do be better, you couldn't be better. You know, you're amazing. With a determined heart, you can be anything you want to be. Coming out from a less rich family background, but you turn out to be financially independent, wonderfully done. That's all I have to say. I really admire your speech style. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vienna, for that wonderful evaluation. I also wish to have shoes so that I can have the next heartfelt speech as well. Now, next up, the next evaluator, DTM Kanan Shankara, is unfortunately, he has some work commitments. So we will move on to the third evaluator, Toastmaster Un Sin Sin. She will be evaluating Patrick, DTM Patrick. Go for a speech. DTM Un Sin Sin, she's a civil servant. She believes that life is not about doing many different things, but doing things differently. And certainly she has come to the right meeting. So without much ado, let's all welcome DTM Un Sin Sin. Un Sin Sin, please.
Sorry, let me pin my, let me look at the timer first. Where's the timer? Okay.
Timer is with the red, blue cap.
Okay, thank you. A very good evening to the President and fellow Toastmasters. Patrick, congratulations to you. I love your speech. The homosexual love is still not accepted by many parents, religions, and by the society at large. You have chosen a topic that's quite unpopular, that some people are still quite uncomfortable with facing it head on, while others are still unfamiliar with. You have done a good job to make people less homophobic or make them more familiar with it. So you did the following to engage your audience. You had interesting slides with pictures that paint 1,000 words. For example, you show a gay family with a male child who is very happy and who is as happy as a child from a heterosexual family. Secondly, you had well-constructed content. You told, firstly, many stories, such as a connection with your 4 homosexual friends and your cousin who isolated himself due to embarrassment. This is to illustrate that, illustrate your belief that love is love. It has no gender, no religion. So even homosexual love should be accepted. And second point is that you use short and succinct phrases to bring across a point, such as eradicate hate. Two short words to bring across a point. And you supported this statement with statistics that homosexuality is found in over 1,500 species. At the end, you did a good job by proposing a call to action to set your audience thinking about this unfamiliar and prickly topic. So you asked them, would you continue to be friend with your best friend if he's gay? Would you still love your child if he's gay? Would you work with a gay worker if they turn out, if they are gay? So you have set your audience thinking about homosexuality. Overall, you have given us an engaging and interesting speech. However, to further captivate your audience, I thought you might want to focus your eyes on the camera so as to establish a closer rapport with the audience and convince them further. All in all, it has not been easy to deliver such an unpopular topic or an unfamiliar topic like this, but you have done it well. Thank you, Patrick, for the interesting speech.
Thank you, DTM Un Sin Sin, for that very comprehensive evaluation of DTM Patrick Gopher's speech. Now, the next evaluation is the most exciting and probably will be the longest evaluation because we will have 8 evaluators to give their round robin evaluation of Toastmaster Angela Lansbury block. So from out of the 8 evaluators, who would like to go first, or according to what I typed in the chat box?
Okay, ready.
All right. So Jay, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, Angela. I read your blog spot and I would keep on reading it, especially the part with the sarong. So interesting topics. how do we help you as a Toastmaster and public speaker? I will not comment on the content because you have mastered that beautifully with the words that you use. I would like to help you by improving your delivery for a Zoom meeting and maybe for a physical meeting if we are finished with this pandemic season. So how to help you? Make sure that your eye contact is focused on the screen. I saw that for several instances you were looking up, probably recalling some of the content, or maybe it's the height of your camera. That would be my only suggestion, and leaving all the rest to the rest of the evaluators. Over to you, G.
Thank you, Jay. Can we have the next round robin evaluator? Who is the next one? Edward. Edward, if you're ready, over to you, Edward. You know who is the timer, right? With the blue cap.
Yes, I know who the timer is. The blog was most informative. I found out about taking pictures with masks and without masks, flags that have stars on them. However, I was looking for travel information, where to go, what to do when I'm there. That type of information I was looking for on the blog, but I got other information. For a travel blog site, I would like to see pictures and tour information. This location is X amount of miles from the capital, but it has great scenery, and tour guide Amid will take you there and bring you back. That type of information I would like on a travel blog. That would have made me want to come back to the site to see, oh, this is what I can do in Taiwan. Oh, this is what I can do in Canada. Oh, this is what I can do in Brazil. That type of information on a travel blog. But the other information was most informative and educational as well.
Thank you, Edward, for giving us your evaluation. Now, let's have the next round robin evaluator, Toastmaster Thomas Chen. Thomas, if you're ready, over to you.
Angela, we may not be allowed to travel right now, but reading your blog was as if that we were traveling to those different countries. And I really love the picture you placed out there. It's just like you, so vibrant, so colorful, and it really adds some color and flavor to the sharing itself. But here's some recommendations, because when I was looking through the content, I realized the navigation was not that user-friendly. More often than not, people will miss out the main post because the heading is this long. Usually, heading should just be this long, and so people will not miss out the post. In fact, I thought that I missed out the post itself, which is why I keep clicking onto the heading. I didn't realize I'm still clicking onto the heading because it's that long. And another thing for you to consider is because there are so many words inside there, and we may be lost in the sea of content and unfortunately not appreciate that beautiful information you share with all of us. So what I encourage you to do is to cut down the words, streamline it, because at the end of the day, a picture paints 1,000 words. Just with the picture itself, you are able to express the emotions and experiences itself, and we will not feel overly tiring when we are reading through the blog. Hope this helps.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas Chen, for that very helpful evaluation. Now, next up will be Sarah Shi. Let's invite Sarah Shi for evaluation. Sarah, are you ready? If you're ready, you may start.
I was sorry, did not pay attention. That's just because I have not a business meeting. Just turned on. I did not pay attention. Look at his speech. I'm sorry. I don't know how can. I don't want to make any. I did not know. I have to evaluate it back to him. For that, I pay attention, but I did not pay attention with his speech because I was just almost finished my another business meeting. I joined this. So sorry about that. Next time, if that I can pay attention, you know. So and what he did great, what he need to improve, I will try that way. But today I didn't, because I was meeting another, just join in the, not pay attention. I don't want any make a mistake, tell him. That's it. Sorry about that.
No worries. When you're free, please click on her blog. You can read more her blog, and perhaps you can PM her about your feedback.
Thank you.
So no worries, we have 8 evaluators, so still have 7, despite you're not able to do. So no worries, no worries.
Thank you.
Let's have the next evaluator, our very own Toastmaster Asmina. Asmina, where are you?
I think she left already. She left
Okay.
already.
Right, we really have the chain course. Now, let's go on to the next evaluator, Jade. Jade, I see you're very ready.
Hi.
So welcome, Jade, to evaluate Angela's blog.
Hi, Angela. I really liked your blog. I felt that there were a lot of fun facts. I learned a lot of fun facts that I never knew, like gas and petrol are used differently in different countries. And I found the information or the content on your website very fun and very entertaining. So it also made me wonder who would be searching for such information, because usually you chance upon such information, you like it, and then you keep on reading it or consuming the information. So I'm curious to know who your viewers are and what kind of search terms they search for when they find your blog, because like what Edward mentioned just now, I think travelers would be very interested to find out specific information, but the information that you provided was across the board, across countries, which is interesting. But also, I'm curious to know who actually lands on your blog. Yeah, that's all for me. Thank you. Back to you. Back to you.
Thank you, Jade, for evaluating Angela's blog. After Jade, we have Toastmaster Hiren. Let's welcome Hiren to give his evaluation of Angela's blog.
So Angela, I would follow the process of excuse me, commend, recommend, and first on your delivery. I think it was passionately delivered. I think we see you deliver well articulated with the tone of voice. My recommendation there would be that if it's a travel blog, it's a blog, it's always good to share the screen. It's always a delight to see what people will see, and this is all on the presentation. Now coming to your blog, again a commend, recommend. I think it shows the passion that you have. So the detailing that you've gone in with, very meticulously pasting in photographs and writing the text, it is quite a detailed job, and it shows the passion. So your blog speaks the passion, and that is well done for you. Recommend is, and I think again coming back to the theme of changing the approach, it's all about the new age. It is, while content is important, promoting the content is equally important. So the stuff of liking your blog, sharing it to the wider audience can be made available. So it just needs a refresh with a very modern outlook where you can share it across social platforms. So that would be my recommendation at this stage. Back to you, Toastmasters of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hiren. We have the final evaluator, DTM Lee Buckley, to share with us her evaluation on Angela's blog. Lee, please.
Thank you, Angela, for sharing your travel wisdom and tips with us. I love the elegant pictures and the photos presented, as well as the details. I felt that there was a lot of useful and interesting information presented. However, it seemed a bit crowded. There was a lot of space around, and all the information and photos seems to be squashed into just the middle part of it. My good friend Dr. Google confirmed 5 key reasons why people will leave a blog, a website, or web page. One being they didn't get what they expected. On average, you have 10 to 15 seconds to capture someone's attention before they move away. So white space, or spreading out the information is very important. Font types, font sizes, colors, as well as organizing the blog into different segments. A lot of us might be interested either in traveling, let's say, by certain countries, as what Edward mentioned, or we might be interested in specific areas, traveling by bus, land, flying, etc. So, and then the other thing I would suggest that you look into too is devices. People will look at your blog from smartphone, iPads, desktops, and laptops. Okay. How elegant you looked in the beach sarong photo taken or uploaded on the 23rd of July. You have inspired us to travel. Back to you, Madam. January is supposed to be January evaluator, right?
Thank you, Toastmaster Lee Buckley. I'm not the January evaluator. I'm still the Toastmaster of the evening, but we are taking a different course this evening. Well, we have finally come to the end of the evaluation segment. May I invite our timer, Toastmaster Abdul Karimi, to give us a report of the evaluators' timings. Over to you, Toastmaster Abdul.
Yes, how you doing, guys? You guys did an elegant job. Amazing, beautiful. Everybody was, taking their time, taking out their thoughts. And all I can say is that just keep doing what you're doing. The time was beautiful, right on time, maybe a few seconds up or down. But other than that, everything went well today. Very elegant, guys. Keep up the work.
Thank you for those encouraging, timely report, timer Toastmaster Abdul Karimi. And with his report, we can all vote for the best evaluator. Can we have the polls up, please? Right, currently we are 76% voted. So please, if you have not voted, please place your votes. It's a very competitive poll now because we had additional evaluators for the last speaker.
Is there a tiebreaker?
No tiebreaker. Competitive, but no tiebreaker.
Is it a draw now? It's a draw now, right?
There's a no draw. It's a clear winner. But there are some, the number 2 and number 3, there's a draw. But we can see a clear winner. I will not reveal the winner. We leave it to the president to announce the winners later.
Because if it's
no, you're
draw,
all excited.
Right, if it's a draw, right, then I will vote for myself. Kidding.
There's a clear winner. I can tell you, there's a clear winner. Despite we have very good evaluators tonight from the audience.
The winner will always be Willie.
Okay, we can close the voting.
Like what you said, Thomas, King Willie.
Thank you all evaluators. Now that the poll has ended, we will now introduce our silent R counter. Our R counter tonight is Toastmaster Ahmad. He has been quietly monitoring all the arms and ums. Now, let us all welcome Toastmaster Ahmad Nur Hakim to present his report. Ahmad, please.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, friend guests. Here's my report for accounting. Overall, there is a in little. The first, I saw Toastmaster Hiran when he was a double master. Okay, one. And one, you know, one. Hiran when he was a prepared speech, one. Double, etc., etc. I mean, he used etc. Continue in sentence, etc., etc. And Patrice, O, two, one. And evaluator, JD evaluator for Angela, 6 topic, jadi one jadi Abdul one okay. And Simpson one Asmina and 3 times Sakar Hada and one one. That's all from my report. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ahmad, for sharing with us your R report. And I'm sure everybody is waiting for our grammarian report. So let us welcome Toastmaster Angela to share with us her grammarian report. Toastmaster Angela, please.
Alicia, first of all, I must congratulate you, Alicia, for using the word of the day. You straight away used elegant, and so many other people used it as well. Hiran then used elegant twice. And then I thought he rhymed it with eloquent, but it's a bit hard to tell. Sometimes when the sound is muzzy and elegant and eloquent, but anyway, it was lovely, whatever it was. Then we had a lot of alliteration. The whole evening was an evening of alliteration. We had a scenario to share, and from Visitor Santi, we also had a way of working. And then from Alicia again, we heard face to face. And I will now talk about some other things. My absolute favorite of the evening was an acronym from Abdul Karimi, NO for next opportunity. I thought that was lovely. I wrote it down. I hope I'll remember it. I don't know where it comes from or who invented it, but it was well worth hearing. And I can hear it again and again because you often hear the word no. And to think next opportunity every time is just wonderful. One of the top positive thoughts. Now, what else did we hear which I liked? From Jay, I heard an alliteration, a trick of the trade. And then I heard a rhyme, different folks and different strokes. And a positive phrase, being productive. Then very interesting from Edward, if it's not broken, don't fix it, but he disagrees with that. He said we must change the approach, which was the theme of the evening. Then another alliteration from Edward, delivered to our door. Probably didn't even think that it was an alliteration when he said it. Then from Heron, again, the word elegance and elegantly. And from Heron, a huge train can change tracks, so why can't we? I thought you could even make this positive. Instead of saying, why can't we, say something like, we can do the same. It's even easier for us to change tracks than a train. Then from here in another good word. Oh, what a long word, but he made it sound so natural. Inculcating. Excellent. I shall have to practice saying that. Inculcating. Excellent word. Makes you sound so knowledgeable. Now, I'll give you a couple of my little tips. Somebody in the chat box, I thought, said, I share you. What would many people have said? It should be, I share with you. Then another one, we had lot. We had a lot. In fact, British people often get a spelling error. They use a lot so frequently that they write it as one word, a lot. And it's not a lot, it's a lot. So remember that, a lot, whether you're speaking or writing. Now I did notice one of our speakers has an American accent. He says opportunity. A British person would have said opportunity. So it's very interesting. You can identify where somebody has learned from, whether they've learned from an American teacher or lived in America, or whether they come from America, or whether they come from Britain by how they pronounce certain words. And another one on the same vowel was attitude, which is, I would think, New York, because in London we would have said attitude, almost as if it has a Y in it. So if you're looking to guess where somebody comes from, did they come from New York or from London? Did they say attitude or did they say attitude? And then you can guess. Another thing that was very interesting, which sounded like an Americanism to me, was to call out. This has all sorts of implications and meanings. You call somebody out of a room or out of their chair to speak. I think in English, in Britain, I would have said to call for or to call to, rather than call out somebody. Then what else did I hear that was interesting? I had somebody say nothing come when they meant the past tense, nothing came. And somebody said she accumulate when the past tense would have been accumulated. Very easy to do past tense in English, like the word yesterday has a D in it. Yesterday. All the words in the past have T's and D's stuck on the end. I say, I said, I go, I went, and so on. Then let's look at some of the more, end on a couple of positive things. Heron again said elegance and elegantly. And I liked from Thomas Chen, secretly and quietly rhyming. And my heart broke into a million pieces. And an alliteration, firm foundation, fast forward, and for my family. And a rhyme, appreciate and reciprocate. And pursue our dream. And I pursued the shoes. And another alliteration, truly treasure. And then a triad, truly fight for, whether it be for wealth, whether it be for riches. And finally, we had from here and again, elegant and elegance. All in all, a very elegant evening. Thank you everybody for such an elegant evening. Back to you, our elegant Alicia.
Thank you, elegant Toastmaster Angela Lansbury, for giving us an elegantly detailed grammarian report. And we have another person that we have been waiting and who has been silently monitoring and evaluating the entire meeting. This is our general evaluator. And let me introduce our general evaluator. She is DTM Doreen Neo. After 47 years of service, she is now a leisure lady, or rather a lady of leisure, learning different approaches of grandparenting. And she has a hobby which is in handicraft. So let us all put our hands together to welcome our general evaluator, DTM Doreen Neo. Doreen, please.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Good day, Club President Willie Low, distinguished Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen. I've already been introduced as Doreen Neo, the general evaluator for tonight. You know that before COVID-19, when I was a GE, I loved to sit behind the meeting, at the back of the meeting room. Reason, facing the speaker, where I could have a full view of the speaker. The audience on the left and the audience on the right, watching their reactions and respond to the speaker's performance without losing sight of them. Now I'm seated comfortably at my home, looking at the screen of the speaker. At either the speaker view or the gallery view, I have to scroll from left to right if the number of audience exceeded that page. Luckily, today is just nice formed into one page. In the process, I beg your pardon, I definitely would lose sight of the audience if I start to scroll. Some audience have their video off, so I'm not able also to see their reaction. Nevertheless, their presence at the meeting is important. It's a boost of morale to our speakers. Don't you agree? Can you give me some signal, please? I have changed the approach towards the role of the general evaluator. Approach change needs time for adaptation. Tonight, it is not only a test for me, but a challenge for my performance tonight. Now I shall start off. Our meeting, or rather our meeting room was open at 8:30 by our diligent President Willie. And I saw Alicia there and some others. By 9:03, there were about 20 attendees. Isn't that a very good turnout? Now I should go straight into the program sheet. I do not know whether any one of you print out the program of the night. I printed it out and I noticed that there is improvement in the program sheet. If you print the agenda, why is Thomas smiling away? If you print the agenda with the option introduction, the segment where the speaker fills in the speech is more consistent now. It will display the title of the speech, the path, the level, and the project. For example, I quote Thomas one. The shoe, that is the title. The path is effective coaching level 1, mastering fundamentals. And the project is Icebreaker. Isn't that very clear? I think this is through the effort of the president's constant reminder and the members' effort in updating the information into Toastmasters as accurately as possible. In fact, it makes the life of our TMD, Alicia Chia, and myself easier because at one glance, you know what they are presenting, who are the evaluators. Next is the introduction field. In the past, there is always confusion whether to put self-intro or speech intro. But today, when I printed out, I found that there is a consistency. Most of them have filled in actually a brief speech introduction. That is very good. Don't you all agree? And the timing sequence with color codes also helps very much. It helps the timer, especially anyone who does timing the first time. You can see at what duration is green, yellow, and red. Now come to the appointment holders. Just give me a second, where is the timer? I lost sight of the timer. Okay, never mind, I just continue. Okay, for the appointments holder, most of them are very experienced and they have no problem in carrying out their duties with responsibilities and also with changing the approach. For the table topic master, I'd like to applaud you for the creativity, the use of the spin, which I will change it to Wheel of Fortune, because when you target a person, it appears you are the winner. Table topic master Hiran challenged audience with his wide range of pictorial table topic question on speaking off the cuff. The table topic speakers display their thinking and speaking off the cuff skill, quoting different approach to handle each question. Isn't that marvelous? Now come to the timer. The timer is very new, but he did a very diligent job. Let us give him a round of applause. The timer is Abdul Karimi. The R counter, he has also good listening ear. He was able to pick up the pause fillers. Shall we also give him a round of applause? Now come to the grammarian. Angela, you are the master of the language. So I don't have much comment on that, but just a request, because I am hard of hearing, I do not know how about the rest. It would be good if you could type the word of the day in the chat. Because yours is elegant, I thought it's eloquent. This is to avoid confusion. Now come to the speakers. I shall not evaluate the speakers, as their evaluators have already given them a constructive and, how do I put it? Giving them a constructive feedback. The evaluators, shall we give them a round of applause also? Why do I always at each report request for you guys to give applause? It's a kind of a motivation for the hard effort that the evaluators or the speakers have been doing. Now come to the evaluators. Evaluation is the part where we give value to speakers to help them grow and improve. Tonight, all the project evaluators have given constructive feedback to the speakers, highlighting the strength and area for improvement, and also with examples. With examples, it's good. It not only benefited the speakers, but it also benefited the rest of the audience. We have today actually from, not to use the word actually. Today we're supposed to have 5 speakers, but because distinguished Toastmaster Kanan had to leave due to work, so we have 4 speakers. And evaluator, we supposed to have 4, but Kanan will give Hiran a recent evaluation. So now I will touch on the evaluator Vienna and Simpson. Both of them are very experienced evaluator. They have given the speakers a constructive feedback. Just give me a moment now. Simpson has highlighted a very important thing to Patrick. Simpson, you are the evaluator for Patrick, right? To focus your eyes on the camera. I think this is one area, am I right?
Yes.
It's one area which many speakers, including myself, I try also to focus on the camera, especially when I'm doing online. I hope I can be as natural as Thomas, Updo, and also Alicia, where they can look straight into the camera without any nervousness. Oh, what's that? Then come to the round table evaluation. This is the first time I heard of it and I witnessed how it's been done. Let me just quote a few. For Thomas, he has given some recommendation, a very important recommendation, that is for a blog, the navigation for Angela is not friendly. So perhaps you might want to take note of that. Navigation, especially online, is the utmost important. For Edward, his feedback was that they should have more pictures. I think for travel information, pictures will attract people to the places of interest. For Jade, Angela, she's wondering who would be the viewer of your blogs. Perhaps after this, you might like to share with her. And for Lee Buckley, wow, she has Googled and found out 5 main keys. I only just pick on one. The important thing is the font, type and size is important. And the blog mustn't be too crowdy. Some simple sentence for easy reading and understanding. It will attract people to read more. Sarah, due to her work commitment, at that moment, she couldn't focus on the evaluation. It's all right. She can, after the meeting, go back as what Alicia recommended, go to the blog and then give Angela a silence evaluation. Next, come to Hiran. Hiran has mentioned an important point, in my opinion, that the content and to promote the blog is very important, because if you have a blog, if you don't do promotion, it's equally as, sorry, I can't think of a word to use it. That means it's just like a white elephant. Pardon me for saying that. And Jay, I like what she mentioned. As an evaluator, do not comment on the content. For delivery, focus on the camera. Last but not least, I shall come to our TMD, Alicia Chia, right? She's a very experienced Toastmaster. When I joined SG Online, I have seen her first performance until today. It is a great growth in her performance. Today, she managed the meeting very well, despite there were many changes here and there. changing of the approach. She grabs it by her hand. Well done, Alicia. Just one feedback. I'm not sure whether this round robin evaluation works. Is it a known matter that the speaker has to find 7 PE? If that is the case, can it be arranged before the meeting so that time will not be spent during the meeting for each evaluator to go into the blog to go and read? If you cannot find the 7 evaluators, perhaps you want to reach out to the EXCO, Alicia, Willie, for help. On the whole, tonight's meeting is with many different approach. And the different approach, I noted that everyone has mastered it very well. I thank every one of you here putting in your effort to make tonight's meeting beneficial to the members, and the meeting is enjoyable and enriching. Over to you, TMD, Alicia, Distinguished Toastmaster.
Thank you, General Evaluator, DTM Doreen Yeo. Wow, that was really a very detailed general evaluation of our meeting. And also you evaluated me. Thank you, thank you. Now, I'm sure everybody has learned a lot, and I'm sure, or rather, you would like to know who are the winners for the different segment. And I will not speak too long, but hand over to our President, DTM Willie Low, to present the awards and his closing speech after that. President, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day of the morning, Alicia Chen. The best table topic speaker go to Simpson, Toastmaster Simpson. The best prepared speaker go to the Nike boy, Thomas Chen. The best evaluator go to Toastmaster Lee, who is half awake now. Can I have one feedback for the 3 guests today? Jade, sorry to ask you. Okay, I come back to you later. Edward, can you unmute yourself? Give me your feedback of the meeting.
Oh, the meeting was very engaging. I enjoy visiting this club. It's always entertaining and educational. And I will, if my schedule permit, next week I'll be here again.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Jay.
All right, I'm no stranger to this club.
Yes, you are no stranger to that.
Yeah, hi again. Not a stranger anymore, I think. I always love hearing your speeches and evaluations. Congratulations, everyone, for a wonderful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. How about our guest, Jade, for your feedback? How you like about this meeting?
Sorry,
How are the noodles as well?
I hope that can I get an honest opinion? Is it rude to be eating during the meeting? Because I really don't have any other time to eat, but I also don't know what people's attitudes are. So maybe I'll just take this chance to ask whether it's rude to be eating during a meeting.
If you need to eat, you need to off your video, but you can still see us.
Okay, cool. Noted on that. I thought it would be good to show
It's
my
not an
face.
official rule. It's not an official rule. It's just
Okay.
what people practice. So no worries. Yeah.
Cool. Heard that. Got it. Thank you.
So give us your feedback about the meeting.
Okay, I really liked that spinning wheel thing. I think it adds an element of suspense, and also people can't really say no. Like it's a very objective kind of thing. It's either you get it or you don't. It's up to the system. It's So I like that, and I thought that the way that the table topic was held was interesting as well, because it was about relating a photo to the topic of the day. So it allows for a lot of imagination and creativity. Yeah. So you can also see the different perspectives of people that way. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me end the meeting with one sentence for my opening speech. Whether or not you can benefit for change depends on your attitude. We are here as a Toastmaster Club to improve our communication and leadership. We are not here to be the best. You can be the best if you improve yourself. If you go improve yourself, even you attend how many Toastmaster Club meetings doing debate speech, you are always the same. There's a word in Toastmaster Club we always use. Practice, practice, practice. But practice by using the right approach, not the same approach that you used to be. And I declare the meetings. We'll see you next week. Same time, same day. Have a nice night for people in Asia. For people in Europe, it's the afternoon. And for people in the US, it's the morning for you. We see you next week, same time, same day.
For people in Australia, it's time to sleep.